come under Article 25th, 26th, 27 and 28. In this class we will discuss educational and cultural rights come under Article 29 and 30. I will take up Article 29. India is a multilingual state consisting of diverse religions, race, cultures. In order to achieve unity in diversity and to create confidence among the minorities, the makers of Constitution provided these rights. The cultural and educational rights are the fifth fundamental rights which is given in the Constitution. The fundamental right is giving the full liberty to the individual to protect their distinct language, script and culture. It is also stopping any kind of discrimination by the state based on religion, race, caste and language. Article 29, Clause 1. Any section of the citizen residing in Indian territory having distinct language, script or culture of its own shall have the right to preserve the same, whereas following conditions must be satisfied to implement this clause. The person must be a citizen of India. The citizen must be residing in the country. That section of a citizen must have a distinct language, script or culture. Clause 2 of this article lays down that no citizen shall be denied admission by any educational institution maintained by the state or receiving aid out of the state funds on the grounds only of religion, race, caste, language or any of them. This clause will only apply when the discrimination is based on religion, race, caste, language or any of them while admitting the student to educational institutions. When there is discrimination in admission based on something else, then this clause won't be applied. For example, when the discrimination is based on domicile, then there won't be any infringement of this clause. This clause will also not apply to the educational institution which are getting no grants from the state. However, the state can impose other restrictions such as age, physical fitness, educational qualification, conduct, etc. in educational and employment matters. Besides, the state under the clause 4 of Article 15 can reserve a minimum number of seats for the members of backward classes or for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. This is affirmative action come under positive discrimination. Both of these articles prohibit discrimination against the citizens, but there are some major differences between them. Article 15 Clause 1 protects against all kind of discrimination, while Article 29 Clause 1 is protecting only against the denial of admission in the educational institutions which are getting aid or maintained by the state. Article 15 Clause 1 is applied only on the educational institutions which are made by the state. On the other hand, Article 29 Clause 2 is applied to the educational institutions by the state as well as on the private educational institutions which are getting aid from the state. Article 15 Clause 1 is wider in operation as compared to Article 29 Class 1. As there are more types of discrimination covered under Article 15, like the discrimination based on sex and place of birth. The next one is rights of minority communities to establish and administer the educational institutions of their choice. Article 30 says that all minorities shall have the full liberty to establish and administer the education institutions of their choice. This right is available only for religious and linguistic minorities. The minority communities are given complete freedom to preserve, promote and maintain their distinct language, script and culture by establishing educational institutions. The minorities are provided the right to admit students according to their own rules and regulations. State has no power to prevent them from admitting students of other linguistic groups. It cannot compel them to admit students selected by it. But in August 2003, Supreme Court gave the verdict that state can fill up the 50% of seats in all technical colleges. This clause is prohibiting the state from practicing any kind of discrimination while granting aid to educational institutions which are run by a minority. Here, there are three types of minority educational institutions. Institutions which seek aid and recognition from the state. Institutions that only seek recognition from the state. Institutions that neither seek recognition nor aid from the state. The first and second type of educational institutions are controlled by the state in various ways like syllabus, academic standard, discipline, employment of teaching staff, etc. But third type of educational institutions is not controlled by the state on the above points. They are free to decide their syllabus, employment of teachers, etc. These institutions are only subject to normal laws of the land like Contract Act, Labour Law and Industrial Law, etc. The minorities enjoy discretionary powers in choosing their own governing body and to select their own employees in educational institutions. Further, they are allowed to decide the medium of instructions. However, the state can impose reasonable restrictions over the affairs of the minority institutions. It can prescribe the educational qualifications of the teachers. It can take steps for the proper functioning of the minority institution by auditing the accounting. Thus, this article provides protection to the minorities in maintaining their own educational institutions. In DAV College, etc. versus State of Punjab, the court began by analyzing the interplay between Article 29 Class 1 that provides right to preserve any distinct language, script or culture, and Article 30 Class it provides the right of linguistic or religious minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. It made the following observation in this regard. The first one observation is the scope of Article 29 Class 1 is wider than that of Article 30 Class 1 as the former includes both minorities and non-minorities, that is majorities, while the latter is only confined to the minorities based on religion and language. It was also concluded that on a combined reading of the two articles, the religious minority has a right to establish an educational institution to specifically conserve distinct language, culture or script. However, it also held that the two articles are not interlinked and can be read separately. Subsequently held that Arya Samajis constitute a religious minority in the state of Punjab, even while the same might not be the case at the national level. Also, it was further observed that they have a distinct script called the Devanagari script, owing to which they are entitled to the rights enshrined under Article 29, Class 1 of the Indian Constitution. Students, I hope that you understood the concept of educational and cultural rights guaranteed under Article 29 and 30.